folks. It is Saturday, the 19th of April, 2025, and I am here with, introduce yourself?
Denisa.
Denisa. Denisa is a professional photographer and a industrial engineer with her own company with Alejandro. They're out of Juarez in Mexico, and they've been visiting with us for the last couple of days. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start capturing data on a number of brightish galaxies associated with Leo and Leo Minor. And the first one is, drum roll,
3665.
So that's NGC 3665, and Denise is going to tell us information about it.
Its magnitude is 10.8. The size is 3.5 by 3. And the declination is plus 38 degrees, 45 minutes, and 45 seconds.
And what about its right ascension?
Ascension is 11 hours, 24 minutes, and 43 seconds.
And I believe the constellation is in its
constellation is
Leo L-Mi, right? Leo Minor. Okay, so that's going to be our first view of the evening. We got about 16 or 17 galaxies. All of them are out of the Wiltirian guide, which means they're all going to be 12th magnitude galaxies and brighter. I am experimenting with the ASI Live function, which allows us to remove some of the pixelation, so we'll get more of an IP style image. Unfortunately, you're going to see similar streaking to this occasionally if we move around a little bit in the observatory, because we are using the 150 ED refractor on the LASMA GG11 mount, and unfortunately we're on the deck, so the deck can cause some shifting in the image. Nice bright image of a very brightly cored, what kind of galaxy is it? Did it say is it a lenticular or an elliptical, or what is this class?
SO.
This is a baseline lenticular spiral O galaxy, which is right at the split point between the two tines of the Hubble de Vauquelaire's morphological chart. And this is where all galaxies tend to gravitate towards, that are spirals as they mature. And eventually, if they mature further by absorbing other galaxies, they will become ellipticals. So this is our first study of the evening. NGC 3665. Here you go.
We're looking at NGC 3687. Its magnitude is 12. The size is 1.9 by 1.9.
This should be a brighter galaxy towards the core, since it's a fairly compact galaxy of magnitude 12. It's quite visible on the screen, right about there. I'm surprised we're not seeing more of the image. Our angle of view is a bit off. Do you have some more information on it?
Ascension is 11 hours, 28 minutes, and 00 seconds. Declination plus 29 degrees, 30 minutes, and 39 seconds.
What kind of galaxy is it?
SB, upper B.
That's a barred spiral. Continuing.
And lowercase b and lowercase c.
So it's between a B and a C, which is 2.5 times removed from a fully mature spiral, which is a lenticular class S0. And that is our look at NGC 3687, I believe, correct?
Correct.
All right, well, moving on. All right, our next study is NGC 3629, is it?
That's correct.
And you have some information on it, Denisa?
Magnitude 12.1, size 2 by 1.5. Ascension is 11 hours, 20 minutes, and 31 seconds. Declination plus 26 degrees, 57 minutes, and 45 seconds.
It's rather vaguely towards the center of the field here. And in fact, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to switch from ASI Live, which use matched triangles to try to center an image. And we're going to go over to the other version of ASI Live, which stacks images over time, and see if there's any difference, even though they're both going to be operating at 10-second exposure times. Once again, this is the same galaxy we just looked at using the ASI Live that did triangulation. We're kind of getting a brighter view of NGC with 3629, was it?
29.
Yeah, and it's more apparent on the screen, but we're getting pixelation. So what I'm going to do is I did adjust the histogram slightly in the other one. Let's see if we can improve it. It's the pixelation you can't eliminate using this approach. I think the galaxy looks a little more apparent to me. Does it look that way to you too, from your perspective? So we have the information from the previous image. Just tell me the magnitude again. And
Magnitude is 12.1.
12.1. It's a little larger than the normal 2x2 galaxy. The other thing to be aware of, this is in Leo Minor, right? We started in the north and we're heading south. So there's our view. Unfortunately, once again, the deck can tend to shift and we do end up with star streaking, but it looks pretty good right there. Let's move on to our next study. So that was our next galaxy this field has several galaxies. The one we're looking for, I believe, is right here. Can you give us some data on that?
Yeah, we're looking for NGC 3608.
Mm-hmm.
The magnitude is 10.8. The size is 3.5 by 3.
Okay. What kind of galaxy is it?
E.
It's an elliptical galaxy, which means it's a fully mature galaxy. Most of its cold dark matter has been converted to stars. The various elliptical classes tend to have degrees of oblateness versus roundness. So you have everything from, like, I believe, an E0 to an E8 or E9. And that has to do largely with the aspect ratio of the presentation. Do you have information on the distance of this galaxy?
It's 46 million light years away.
And its size was?
The size is 3.5 by 3.
Most elliptical galaxies are rather compressed. In this case, this is probably no more than 30 to 35,000 light years in diameter. So it does have a neighbor, and I suspect we're going to be looking at it shortly. So let's move on to our next study of the evening. Okay, we've now moved on to NGC.
3646.
And it's located in what constellation?
Leo.
Leo. Do you have information on it?
Magnitude of 11.1.
Mm-hmm.
Size 3.9 by 2.2.
Okay.
Declination plus 20 degrees, 10 minutes and 11 seconds.
And the morphology? Spiral?
A spiral with lowercase c.
Okay, so it's relatively removed, 3 times removed from lenticular. However, this lowercase c galaxy does seem to have a brightish core. There's an extended region around it of luminosity. I might play just briefly with seeing if we can enhance anything through the histogram. That brought out a little bit more of the extension. Did you notice it went out a little bit further when I did that? And we are getting a better view. So I'm pleased with that last histogrammic adjustment for NGC.
3646.
And its distance?
192 million light years.
Ooh, that's pretty distant. And it looks fairly large. What was the extension once again? 192 and it was what, 3 arc minutes in size? What was it?
3.9 by 2.2.
Okay, this galaxy is probably some 200,000 light years across. Now, many of these young galaxies are rather large, and they do compress as they do go through star formation periods. As I said before, ellipticals tend to be very compressed, and the early onset galaxies, such as this one, which are like 3 times removed from the lenticular class, tend to be larger. They will get brighter with more stars, but there will be a change in the type of light in terms of spectral frequency as the galaxy matures. All right, we're seeing a much smaller, tighter, and more nucleated galaxy in NGC 3626, right in the very center of the screen. We just did do a 3-star alignment with the scope. We were not getting things to fall in as nicely as we want. It's possible the scope could have been mechanically disturbed at some point, but doing the three-star alignment really nailed things once again. You want to go ahead with this one?
Yeah, its magnitude is 11. The size is 3.2 by 2.4.
Mm-hmm.
Ascension 11 minutes 28
Or 11 hours, yeah.
20 minutes and 3 seconds.
And declination?
Plus 8 degrees 21 minutes and 24 seconds.
And the scope is pointing towards Leo.
Leo.
So it's in Leo. We're actually kind of in the tail of Leo now. There's quite a few galaxies, maybe as many as 10 galaxies that are right within the triangle in the tail of Leo. This may very well be one of them. What we're looking at here is NGC 3605, and it has a very faint neighbor here and a brighter neighbor here. But this is the largest and brightest galaxy in this region of space, which is located once again in Leo and probably within the Leo-Denebola triangle at the easternmost portion of the ecliptical constellation of Leo. We have information on this?
Magnitude of 12.3. Size is 1.4 by 0.9.
Mm-hmm.
Ascension 11 hours 16 minutes and 46 seconds. Declination plus 80 degrees 18, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
1 minute and 1 second.
All right, and it's a type what galaxy? It looks kind of like either a lenticular or an elliptical. What does it say there?
It is elliptical.
What is it? Does it have a number on it? Like
just
E3 or something like that?
Just an E.
Okay. This looks a little brighter than most of the 12th magnitude galaxies we've been seeing, so it's a bit peculiar in that regard. It's possible we had some high thin clouds, but the sky looks really dark up there. Although our eyes cannot be fully dark adapted due to the fact that we're looking at a bright screen. So we're going to move on to the next, probably a Leo Triangle area galaxy. Okay, we've got a rather relatively faint galaxy here in the NGC 3659. And Denise will give us the data on it. It's right in the middle of the field. That's beautiful. 3-star alignment worked well.
Magnitude 12.3. Size 2.3 by 1.3. Ascension 11 hours 23 minutes and 45 seconds. Declination plus 17 degrees 49 minutes and 1 second.
Class, it looks like it's a fairly youthful spiral because it doesn't have a bright central core. It's rather diffuse in its luminosity. What is the morphology on there? Spiral what class?
Spiral and B.
Spiral B. So twice removed from lenticular. I would have thought maybe it would have been a BC, but that's okay. I don't know everything about these. But one thing I do want to do on it, we haven't done any zooming. So I want to show you the effect of zooming on the galaxies. This is peculiar. Yeah, we are bringing out more of the galaxy by zooming, but everything now is a bit more diffuse and the stars don't look as well. I'm probably going to stay away from that when we're here working the observatory. The native magnification on this is probably somewhere around 140x. So that's why we probably don't really need to do much in the way of zooming when we are using the observatory telescope at f8 as opposed to the portable at f4. So there's our view, once again, of NGC
3659.
There we go. We'll move on to our next study. Once again, probably be in the triangle associated with Denebola and Leo. Right. We've moved on to NGC 3686. It's right here in the center. There's a fainter galaxy off here with a brighter core, perhaps, but this is the study of the moment. Data on NGC 3686?
Magnitude of 11.3, size 3.1 by 2.4, ascension 11 hours 27 minutes and 44 seconds, declination plus 17 degrees 13 minutes and 24 seconds.
Morphology?
It is a spiral with a uppercase B and lowercase b and lowercase c.
Okay, so it's a relatively immature spiral, but it does have a central bar. So it's got spiral arms shooting out of it typically when you have a bar, and typically 2 arms, but I would have to do a little more research on that. Looks to have a bit of an expansive circular aura around it, but I don't think it's an annular because it would say that on the screen. It would say ring. But there is a decent view of NGC 3684. 86. Okay, 84 will be our next study then. Okay, we're on to NGC 3684, is it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so notice that 3686 shifted down to the lower right. 84, which was the fainter galaxy above it, was still relatively bright, shifted in the middle. And there's even a more intense galaxy with a brighter core, but smaller, in the same position as 8. I believe it was 6 was in originally and 84 is in now. Do we have data on NGC 3684?
Magnitude of 11.4, size 3.4 by 2.2, ascension 11 hours, 27 minutes, and 11 seconds. It has a declination of plus 17 degrees, 1 minute and 45 seconds.
And the class?
The class is spiral with a lowercase b and c.
Okay, so 2.5 times removed from lenticular, but it does not have a central bar, and that makes sense because it does look rather circular. Although there's a bit of a stellar core, you can see the difference between the very center and the aura around it, and then the faintest aura around that. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's cross our fingers. I suspect this galaxy will take the place of this one, since this one took the place of the previous galaxy. So we'll move on to that. So we're looking to see this galaxy jump to the middle, and it did. So everything just, the ducks lined up on that one. Notice this one has a more luminous central core, but it's a smaller galaxy. This one has a lot of extended nebulosity shooting off to the directions. I imagine this one might be an elliptical. Can you determine what class galaxy this one is?
It is not an elliptical. Sorry to tell you.
Oh, okay. What is it?
The spiral.
Which class?
The class is B.
It's got a bar. Is it a big B or a...
Big Bear.
Okay, big B.
And BC.
Oh, I can't believe that, because it looks so much more condensed than the previous galaxy. Anyway, so more data on NGC 3681, please.
Yeah, the magnitude is 11.2.
Okay.
Size 3 by 2.2.
Mm-hmm.
Its ascension 11 hours, 26 minutes, and 29 seconds. Declination plus 16 degrees.
I'm going to zoom on this one. Go ahead.
51 minutes and 48 seconds.
We're starting to see a lot more extension as we do run the magnification up. And it does seem to have an orientation axis too, but everything gets really ugly when you push it up to like 400x. So I'm going to drop it back down to our original view. This is about 150x, and that's not a bad view even in itself. All right, so, okay. All right, we've moved on to NGC 3655. There are no other galaxies in its train like previously, and we have data on it. And that is?
Magnitude of 11.6, size 1.5 by 1. Its ascension 11 hours, 22 minutes, and 54 seconds. Declination plus 16 degrees, 35 minutes, and 22 seconds. It's a spiral. It has a form of spiral and a lower C.
Okay, so it's several times removed from lenticular, but the core looks pretty bright to me. Look at that. And it looks like it has a bit of a bar. And you can see the spiral arms going around the outside. It's almost a bit like a coracle or something. Very interesting morphology to it. So let's move it back because all the stars start getting ugly when we do too much of that sort of thing. So we've seen quite a few galaxies in a row that all tended to have relatively bright central cores, and they are usually fairly mature galaxies, but this is a BC then.
This is an SC.
SC. So this is 3 times removed from the lenticular class. And I would not have suspected that looking at how bright the core is. All right. We're going to move on to a few other galaxies, 2 of which are Messier class.
Can you repeat the number, please?
Yeah, here we have NGC 3623.
23?
Yep. It's got another name. And looking at this galaxy, you'd say, you might be able to see it in the 1770s using a 3-inch long focus refractor, and you might give it the designation Messier 65. But one of the reasons why we want to see it as an NGC is we get a little more data out of the NGC catalog than we get from it. And while oh crap, I haven't actuated it. No, I did actuate it. Good, we're on pause. While we're getting some data, and I'm going to change the exposure time on it to 30 seconds. And we're going to, so go ahead and read the data as I change the exposure time to 30 from 10 seconds.
The magnitude is 9.3, size 9 by 2.3, ascension 11 hours, 18 minutes and 55 seconds, declination plus 13 degrees, 5 minutes and 31 seconds. The classification is a spiral with a bar, and it has a lower case 8.
Lowercase a, so it's only 1 time removed from a lenticular, which is kind of visible here in that we have a nice bright central core with extended spiral arms. And this is our view right now when we pushed it up to 30 seconds. Not bad, but I'm going to have to play with the histogram to improve the image aesthetic. So there we go. Now we're collecting 3 times as much light as we did before, which typically means we've more than almost doubled the aperture of the scope by doing this. Unfortunately, it makes it a little more sensitive to any kind of motion in our environment. So this is also, as I mentioned, Messier 65. We're going to go on now to another NGC, and I'll leave it on 30 seconds exposure time. NGC 36 should be 27th. So let's go ahead and give that one a view. And I'm going to do a little zoom in while you do that and pause the imaging after let's give it the next pass. It's got 3, 2, 1, 0 seconds left. We'll let that stack. You go ahead and plug it in, and I'll be able to keep this image here, and I'll do a little zoom in. So I think the next one was NGC 3627. Oh yeah, I can pause this baby. Oh, don't hit the stop button. That may have killed me last night when I only got 6 minutes of a 30-minute video. So Alejandro thinks this may actually be another galaxy nearby. It's kind of hard to tell. As long as I'm not imaging the scope can slew. It'll be interesting to get an image off the web. But notice oh, wait a second, I see what it is. You see all these stars are doubled up? That meant we double captured the image. So that's why we're seeing a second core to the galaxy echoing the first one. So that's just an anomaly of the fact that we're on the deck and we're using long exposure times. And so we're doubling up on the images. I'm going to go ahead and pause, and we're going to generate an image of the next study in our series. Okay, folks, we were going to look at the 3691, NGC 3691, but unfortunately it has progressed too far sidereally. So we're looking kind of at the roof. So we're not going to get a very good view of it. And we're going to conclude on this because it is frigid out. And it's getting about 10:30 in the evening, yeah. And it's time to kind of knock off. But so let's just say we've had a nice little tour of some of the brighter galaxies in Leo Minor and Leo. And we are going to say collectively, Carpe Noctem.